So, so Dan Pearson, I think you're on to first. This is the opening of Monday, August 16th, Norton Conservation Commission, and the time now is 6:34. So, Dan, you may open with the preamble.
Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, GLC 30A Section 18, and the Governor's March 15, 2020 order imposing strict limitation on the number of people that may gather in one place, this meeting of the Norton Conservation Commission will be conducted via remote participation to the greatest extent possible. Specific information and the general guidelines for remote participation by members of the public and or parties with a right and or requirement to attend this meeting be found at the end of this agenda. Members of the attending this public hearing / meeting virtually be allowed to make comments if they wish to do so in the portion of the hearing designated for public comment by raising their hand virtually or pressing *6 if participating by phone. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. In the event that we are unable to do so, despite best efforts, we will post on the Norton Cable website, www.nortonmediacenter.org, an audio or video recording, transcript, or other comprehensive record of proceedings as soon as possible after the meeting.
All right, thank you, Dan. And we just have to do a notation of Conservation Commission members who are present, albeit remotely, participating in this meeting. Carrie Schneider, myself, Julian Kadish, who is chair, Dan Doyle, Dan Pearson, Ron O'Reilly. We have our recently former director helping us remotely just to keep the meeting recording going. And we also are welcoming tonight Megan Harp, our assistant, and we can all welcome her tonight. So our first item on the agenda is a request for determination of applicability, determination 1113 for Dylan Ribeiro concerning 8 Margaret Drive. The proposed project is to repair and replace an existing septic system within 100 foot of wetland. Do we have a representative of the applicant for that hearing?
Yes, I'm Dave Overlander with BDO Engineering.
And
so
one of the details is we were trying to make everybody co-host so that you could post your plan, and I don't know if that succeeded. Are you a?
Yeah,
yes, he's a co-host.
Okay, very good, excellent. So you may need to post that plan.
Meaning me?
If you have it on your computer.
I do not.
Okay, well, I might be able to do it. So why don't you go ahead with your presentation, and I'm going to see if I can fish it up as a co-host to put the plan up.
I did email it to Conservation, so I don't know if it's probably floating around somewhere, I would guess. And it's also on Permitize as well.
Right. Let me see if I can get it up here. But go ahead.
Okay, it's pretty straightforward anyway. It's a existing home for sale. It failed its septic inspection, so we're putting in a new system. We're actually able to increase the distance from wetlands a little from the existing trenches that kind of go from the edge of the driveway underneath the gas line towards a wetland area. So our leaching area is going to be about 81 feet away, and we're, dipping into the driveway a little, but we do have some underground utilities on the western part of the site with water and electric. So we maximize the distance from the wetlands, and that's what you see before you.
Well, I cannot find this plan. I'm not sure if I got that one. It's Plain Street. It's not that one. Not that one. For whatever reason, that one, it didn't show up. So sorry about that. We can't set that up, but
is it possible to? I can try to email a PDF. Unfortunately, the thing I'm doing on the meeting for the Zoom call is on my wife's iPad.
yeah, let me
PDF on my
right now, Julian. Hold on one sec.
I might be able to
I got it.
You got it? So are you a co-host? Can you post it?
I can see it now. So
You see that? Okay, perfect.
Okay.
oh, nice job. I'd have to hire you for an IT guy.
I had to go and find it in the email, but yeah, I found it. All right.
All right. So this looks straightforward.
See if we can zoom in a little bit.
So Dan, you may have to use your mouse to highlight. So
Yeah,
this,
a little bit. Yeah, if you just want to explain it from here, and I can point stuff out.
Yeah, so you can see the 81-foot dimension from the northeast corner of the leaching area to the closest area of the wetlands. And then on the western side of the leaching area is the driveway. And yeah, so we're kind of straddling the 100-foot setback, but as I said, with the driveway, the underground water and electric, we kind of tried to sandwich it in there, but couldn't quite get the 100 feet. But again, the existing, you can see where the existing tank is. The leaching area kind of comes right under that tree that's we're showing to be removed and goes out towards the gas line along the eastern part of the field. So we are getting a little bit further away.
all right. So this appears to be a fairly low relief site with regard to any slopes. So and you have the blue line with intermittent square boxes or I can't see if that's square or X's. On my screen, it's to the left. Is that a siltation barrier, or what is that? It indicates
The siltation barrier, actually on my screen, it's kind of like a yellowish, hayish color that kind of goes from the corner of the steps, of the front steps of the house, and wraps around the work area to right about where it says 121 on the property line. Yeah, so it starts in that corner and I keep pointing, but you guys can't see where I'm pointing.
yes.
Yeah, you got that's the starting
but I think we got it, and so fairly straightforward. And so we can now consider questions from any of the commission members if any questions are out there. And if not, we're going to go to the participants list and look for hands up. I haven't explained this meeting about raising your hand, but you can do it in one of two ways. Usually at either the base of the bottom of the participants list, or if you go to reactions, you can also have an option for raising your hand. I do not see any hands up, So I think we can consider, this is a fairly straightforward project. We can consider a motion to close. This is a request for determination. There is a note that the legal bill needs to be paid. I'm assuming that happened already.
I passed the word along. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm sure they'll do it.
Okay, all right. So I can entertain a motion to close request for determination determination 1113.
I'll make the motion to close the determination, the hearing for determination 1113.
Second.
We have a motion made by Dan Doyle and seconded by Dan Pearson. We're going to do a roll call vote, starting with Dan Pearson and Dan Doyle.
Aye.
Aye.
And we have Ron and Carrie.
Aye.
And I'll throw in an aye, so the motion carries. We're back in a regular meeting. We can continue a motion for a negative determination. That is, of course, assuming the project is carried out according to plan.
I'll make the motion to issue a -3 determination.
Second.
A second.
So we have a motion made by Dan Doyle, seconded by Dan Pearson for a negative determination, starting with a roll call vote, again with Dan Pearson and Dan Doyle.
Aye.
Aye.
And Carrie and Ron.
Aye.
And I'll throw in an aye. So the motion carries. It was Dan Overlander, is that?
David, yeah.
David. Okay, well, thank you. Or do you have another meeting coming up here?
Nope, that's it for me tonight. Thank you very much.
All right, very good.
Thank you.
We'll see ya.
All right. The next is a request for determination of applicability, determination number 1114 for Dan Callahan, 13 Fordham Drive. And do we have a representative for that project? Oh, I see.
Yes, Dan.
And well, we'll see about the plan. I think I had a problem with bringing this. I couldn't bring any plan up, but maybe you can help us with that.
Okay.
So if you could just describe what the project entails.
So there's an existing retaining wall along the side of my driveway that over the years has, just kind of deteriorated a little bit, and the driveway's starting to crack. I just want to replace that retaining wall. Obviously with a new one that's going to work a little better.
All right. How close roughly to the wetland is activity?
I don't have the plan up in front of me. I think my wife's going to try and run and find it now. It is.
Yeah, I tried to download that plan and nothing happened for me, so I'm not quite sure about. Dan Doyle, are you able to access that maybe?
I know. I saw it earlier today when I was looking at the. Oh.
I might.
I think I have it up if Dan doesn't.
Okay, well, that will be, if you can post it, that would be fantastic.
I have pictures, I think, because I have some pictures here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay, we have a plan. All right, because I saw the pictures, but the plan just wasn't there for me. All right, so the driveway is there, and so the wall, it looks like it's in the area away from, and I see you have siltation control.
So here's the wall here.
Yeah, that's the solid black line is the wall that comes down, like I said, the side of the driveway towards the street.
It was here.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
So the area of wetlands We can just scroll up a little bit.
Yeah, so where's the,
Those are the wetland markers. Oh, yeah. Can't see where I'm pointing, but at the top, right? Yeah.
this here?
That looks like it's a 50-foot buffer zone. And then I assume the 100-foot is running over the existing
This here?
septic system. I'm assuming that. All right. So is this a very flat site?
Yes.
So it's really, I mean, to my eye, it's not really clear that siltation control is even going to be required, but maybe other people can weigh in on that. So I think if any of the commission members have questions, we can entertain them.
I don't think I have any questions. It looks pretty straightforward.
So is this a project that you, as the homeowner, are going to do on your own? Or are you going to have a contractor come in?
I was gonna have a contractor come in. I've been working with B&B Landscaping. That's who was out with Jennifer when she took the pictures and stuff.
I see. And what would be the anticipated time of the duration of the repair? Like,
I'm sure Brian from B&B would know a little bit more about that. I mean, we were hoping to have it done in the fall or before the winter.
but do you think it would have a 3-day period of construction or something on that order? In other words, not a long time of exposed soils and all of that?
Yeah, when I was talking to Brian, he didn't. He said it wasn't going to take. It was going to be a huge project. So I'm assuming it wasn't going to take too long.
Because that would be our only concern if you had a lot of exposed soils that didn't get stabilized and then, multiple rains and things, so on. So that will be a consideration. I personally think if it's only could take a few days and you can stabilize it with materials to cover the exposed soils, that we probably don't need siltation controls, but be aware that the site will be inspected during the activity, and if something happens, you may need to have siltation controls installed quickly.
Okay.
All right, so this is one further detail. I assume you've received the bill for the legal notice.
Yes, I dropped that off with Megan this morning.
Okay, excellent. So this is a request for determination, a fairly discrete project. So I think we can consider, unless there are any hands up in the audience, which I do not see, that we can consider closing this public hearing.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to close the public hearing on DET file 1114.
Motion made by Dan Pearson and seconded by?
Second.
Seconded by Ron O'Reilly. We're going to do a roll call vote, starting with Ron and Dan Pearson,
Aye.
and then Dan Doyle and Carrie.
Aye.
And I'll throw in an aye, and our motion carries. We're back in our regular meeting. We can continue. We can consider a motion for a negative 3, indicating that no notice of intent is required, assuming the project is carried out according to plan. We can entertain such a motion.
So moved.
Yep. I'll make the motion to issue a -3 determination on 1114.
Yeah, Dan, I think Ron beat you to it, but I'll accept your second.
Okay.
All right, motion made by Ron, seconded by Dan Doyle to issue a -3 for determination number 1114. Roll call vote, Ron and Dan Pearson. How do you vote?
Aye.
And Dan Doyle and Carrie?
Aye.
Was that an aye coming from you, Dan Doyle?
Yes.
All right, and I'll throw in a yes. So the motion carries. So just for clarification of the applicant, a negative determination means that you do not need to file a notice of intent. You will be issued the determination to proceed with your project, assuming it is carried out according to the plan. And as has been prior practice, you need to inform the Conservation Office when a couple of days before the project begins, because often an inspection will take place and then an inspection after the completion will take place.
Okay.
All right. Thank you for coming tonight.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, very good. And we're now going to move on to an abbreviated notice of resource area delineation, ANRAD DEP file 50-1080 for Marcia Godfrey, 301 South Worcester Street. Do we have a representative of the applicant?
Yes, good evening, everyone. This is Tim McGuire, for the record, wetland scientist on behalf of, working for Goddard Consulting here on behalf of the applicant and owner of the property, Marcia Godfrey. So what we are presenting to you tonight is seeking confirmation of on-site resource areas through the issuance of an ORAD. The property, as shown here in outlined in red, is at 301 South Worcester Street in Norton. And portions of the site have been flagged by our firm, but at this time we're only seeking the confirmation of those resource areas shown in this faint hatching that you can see here, just on this portion of the site. So we're not worried about anything over to the eastern portion of the property. So a colored up site plan, there's little zoom things getting in the way. Here's the site plans of the site that we've colored in the wetlands. So on-site wetland resource areas consist of bank of a perennial stream, Goose Branch Brook here. So we've shown that with the mean annual high water series associated with that, along with the herring riparian zones in light blue and dark blue here. Along with the perennial stream, there's also the bank of an intermittent stream, flagged here partially with an E series. Also in the E series, connected to that stream is portions of a BVW, shown here. There's another BVW system flagged with a B series running along the perennial stream here. And then with the C series, we've flagged a third BVW system to the east of the property, and also including the bank of pond in this. And the final wetland system that we flagged was this isolated vegetated wetland. It's also a mapped potential vernal pool with the A series here. And it does qualify as isolated land subject to flooding, and we have the calculations for that. So we have not yet had an opportunity to meet with anyone from the Conservation Commission on site to perform a site walk to confirm these on-site resource areas. I understand there's been some staffing changes that are currently occurring in the town, but I would be happy to not only open up to the commission for any questions at this time, but schedule a site walk to review the on-site wetland resource areas.
Okay. So this is a pretty substantial area. And I think it's, you raised the issue of right now we have some staffing issues, and I think we can address this by hiring a consultant to help us with that. And is that something the applicant would be agreeable to?
I would think so. I would ask for the opportunity to follow up with them just to confirm prior.
Okay.
Shall we vote on it now, Julian?
Yeah, I think, well, we can't vote it within the public hearing process, but I think you can presume that in the situation we're in, until we do have an agent hired, and this is this is not a trivial project, that we are going to need the help of the consultant to deal with that. So I think in that context, would you be willing to allow a continuation of this hearing?
Absolutely, and I'm sure I can confirm fairly quickly with the applicant, just that that is okay, given the certain circumstances that the town is facing right now. By the next public hearing for this, would the town be able to come up with some peer review bids, or is that something that you would have to vote on prior to seeking out bids?
We
I think
can,
we have to vote on it before.
yeah, I mean, the next hearing is the 30th of August. We certainly can vote on it, and I think we can talk to some consultants. And if you can just be in contact with the Conservation Office, it would be Megan, who would be able to communicate to us that it's okay with your applicant to hire such a consultant.
Absolutely, that sounds good. So I will be in touch with Megan on that.
So, I mean, if things can't get settled by the 30th, we can certainly continue it again until the consultant can get out there and just review what you're proposing and report back to us. So, unless there are any questions among the commission or the audience members, we can continue a motion to continue this hearing. I'm just taking a look here if there are any hands up. I don't see any hands up among the audience members, and no further questions among commission members. If not, we can consider a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to continue the public meeting on an for DEP file 250-1080.
Motion made by Dan Pearson and seconded by?
I'll second.
Okay, I think, Dan, did you throw in a second? Because I didn't quite hear anything.
That was
All right, well,
I did.
was that?
Oh,
Right, all right. So Carrie, I think Ron beat out your second just by a little bit. So motion to continue the ANRAD hearing for file number 250-1040 was made by Dan Pearson and seconded by Ron O'Reilly. Going to do a voice vote. So Carrie and Ron, how do you vote?
Aye.
aye.
And Dan Pearson and Dan Doyle.
Aye.
Aye.
And I will throw in an aye. So this a request for resource area delineation is continued until August 30th. And the specific items are to inquire and potentially hire a peer review to review the site. But of course, we have to vote on that outside of this hearing. So we will be doing that, and you'll be in touch with the Conservation Office with regard to your applicants saying that will be fine.
Absolutely, and I should be able to confirm that by tomorrow, and I'll send Megan the email.
Excellent. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. I'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Now, I just want to confirm that we have the details down for the first three hearings as to what transpired. You all set with that, Dan Pearson?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
and Megan,
Just learning English language.
yeah, and that's okay. So Megan, you don't have any questions about any of the first three?
No.
Okay, very good. Thank you. All right, so our next item is request for determination of applicability, determination number 1112 for Rachel McCann, 28 Eddy Street. This has been continued since July 26th. The proposed project is to construct an in-law apartment garage, expand the existing driveway, porch grading within 100 foot of a wetland containing a vernal pool. So do we have a representative of the applicant?
Good evening, everyone. Tim McGuire, Goddard Consulting here again. For the record, wetland scientist from Goddard Consulting here on behalf of the owner and applicant, Rachel McCann. So this is the locust property here. It's addressed as 28 Eddy Street in Norton. It's an existing single-family house along with an isolated vegetated wetland and a mapped certified vernal pool here. There's no hydrologic connection to this wetland system, therefore it is isolated. And we're seeking confirmation that there is no work performed within jurisdictional areas, as the vernal pool / IVW does not have applicable buffer zones. The work proposed is still maintaining work out of what would be the 25-foot buffer zone, which is the town's policy to maintain outside of that. The work that is proposed is the construction of a garage and an in-law apartment with some associated driveway expansion as well. We did receive a comment prior to the public hearing that Jennifer would like us to remove this dry well from buffer zone, which we were happy to make that change and have submitted the plans to do so. So this is the proposed project, and I'm happy to open it up to any questions and comments from the community.
Could you just specify where that dry well is again? Because I didn't see it go by.
Yeah. If you can see my cursor, it's right down here. We moved it completely outside of the 100-foot buffer zone.
I see. Oh, this is a proposed dry well, not an existing. Okay.
Correct.
All right. Now, you made a statement that the vernal pool is not jurisdictional as a wetland, but then you have a buffer zone. But so the wetland is where? Can you clarify that for me? I didn't quite get it.
So the vernal pool we did map with the VP series as shown here. There is a small portion of isolated vegetated wetland off of the vernal pool that's not directly a part of the vernal pool itself. But that was called out here. It is part of the same isolated system as the vernal pool. So that is it is a certified vernal pool, but we are not proposing any impacts to it. All the work is occurring outside of the buffer zone, and we're seeking confirmation that it does not have a jurisdictional buffer zone. But despite that, we still have maintained work outside of the 25-foot buffer zone here, or what would be the 25-foot buffer zone, and we were, as stated, amenable to moving the dry well outside of the 100-foot buffer zone as well.
All right. So this issue was discussed with Jennifer in prior comments. Is that?
Just a note at this point, if I might, Mr. Chairman. This was something that we took no action on at the last meeting, if that is the question, because we were unable to reach the website, and there was no representative at the last meeting for this file. So I don't know if there's been interaction with Jen. She can answer that.
I believe there was no email correspondence in specific about the drywall, but she did speak with Scott Goddard from my office over the phone in regards to the issue. And our firm was not aware that we were scheduled for the last hearing for this. The only correspondence I've received from the commission in regards to scheduling it was tonight's meeting.
All right. So, so items to be clarified. I mean, you're saying the activity is outside the 25-foot no disturb zone, but that zone is presuming that that area is jurisdictional, and you're questioning whether it is or not.
So we're seeking confirmation that there are no jurisdictional buffer zones on site, because the wetland resource area is not bordering on anything. Despite it not being jurisdictional, we've still, in the interest of protecting the vernal pool resource area, we have maintain all work outside of the town's 25-foot no disturb policy.
And these other two indications of a 50-foot and a 100-foot, they're in discussion? Is that what you're saying? I mean, this is an engineered plan, is it not?
Correct. In the buffer zones, although not jurisdictional, we did show, just to depict the point, that even though it is not jurisdictional, we are maintaining work outside of the 25, and we are moving the dry well outside of the 100 per the request of the agent.
Yeah.
But we do maintain, our seeking of confirmation that the buffer zones themselves are not jurisdictional. And most of the work is occurring, I will state, within existing driveway. There is very slight expansion into the lawn and a portion of the woods here, but there's only minor grading associated with the project as well, as you can see the contours right here.
All right. So, I mean, it's not, what is confusing me is you have things on the plan that you're saying don't really apply, and yet they're on the plan, and the plan is signed. So it just confuses the legal status of this plan. But I think even if they were jurisdictional, your activity is allowed, but has to have, I mean, this is a request for determination, is that correct?
Yes.
So, I mean, that's kind of what I'm wrestling with in my mind. If these are jurisdictional, then a notice of intent is required because it's fairly extensive work within the buffer zone. Maybe I've got that wrong. I think we need to have some feedback from Jen or someone else who can sort this out for me. Is that something you would be willing to have a continuation? I mean, is there kind of a,
well, what is the comment? Just to confirm that the wetland itself is indeed isolated, or are you concerned with us actually? Would you prefer that we just don't even show the buffer zones on the plan, or
well, if you're asking us to say, okay, you're right, this is not jurisdictional, which is something I can't tell from the plan. So somebody with clear expertise in this fine point needs to visit the site and say, yeah, we agree it's not jurisdictional. And if that's the case, then the buffer zone, the buffer zone indicators need to be removed. And then it would fall under the request for determination of applicability process. And it potentially still could, but I can't, on my own expertise, confirm that without somebody with a broader knowledge of the law. So I think we can potentially resolve this if you're willing to allow us to continue it. And then we can flag that particular point and get some input.
Absolutely. Now, in the interim of that, just to ask a clarifying question, is Jennifer still on a part-time basis? Will she be available to do a site walk with me and just do a walk around and confirm there's no hydrologic connections? Or would other members of the commission be comfortable in their ability to delineate, to confirm that for us? Or what would be the next steps that we'd be waiting on the commission for?
The answer is yes. Jennifer still is assisting us on a part-time basis. But scheduling a specific site walk is going to be something we can't answer. So, but I suspect that will help us resolve. She may already have the answer. It's not specified. And that's why I'm asking for a continuation to get some feedback from her, because she's familiar with the site. And it may be as simple as, yes, this is fine. But I can't personally specify, and I don't know if any other commission members can help out with that if they've spoken. specifically to Jennifer about this or not?
Sorry.
No, but I do see a note that the vernal pool is no longer potential, but that it's been certified.
But if it's isolated, it still may not be jurisdiction.
Sure,
So,
exactly.
so that's the key point. And I don't think we can close it without having that defined.
I agree.
And it may be simple to define. So, we're just asking for your patience, Tim, and just allow us to continue it until the 30th.
Absolutely. Correct me if I'm wrong, but is Jennifer on the call right now? Would she be able to comment on any knowledge she had?
She is.
She's not on the call yet.
Okay.
Yeah, she comes on the call at 7:30 because of other obligations. So we can potentially run that by her later. But for the moment, it's an open question.
So should I hold on for 15 minutes and see if she's still around? Would we be able to?
The only wrinkle is we've got a full agenda, and we may be in the middle of a hearing, et cetera. So it may be best just to continue, and we can define it, and hopefully it'll just be plain, simple, open and close next meeting.
Okay, absolutely. And if Jennifer or anyone hasn't had the opportunity to perform a site walk, I would be happy to meet them on site and do so.
All right. So I think we can be in touch through the Conservation Office to define that.
Okay, that sounds good. Thank you very much.
So I think with that, unless there are any questions from either commission members or members of the audience, I do not see any hands up. So we can continue. We can consider a motion to.
One hand up.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. There's a David McDonald. So if you want to take yourself off mute and ask your question.
Yeah, hi, good evening. My name is Joanna McDonald. I'm a direct abutter to this property. So if this is being continued, can I raise my concerns in the next meeting, or should I raise them now?
Well, this is kind of the public hearing in which we're already in the midst of the discussion, so you should probably just raise them now, and maybe if there are things that need to be addressed, it can be done.
Okay, so we're on the side of the property with the 254-foot boundary line, and I'm not a plan reader, so bear with me. But I have some questions about if they're going to add an in-law apartment, how many people will be living in there? I'm assuming 2, but the septic system that's on that site is over 23 years old. So I don't know if there's some concern with that. And the septic system is within, I would say from looking at this plan, about 15 feet from our property line. So I'm concerned about any issues with, you know, an overtaxing of this system, if that would happen. The other question I have is the proposed silt sock. I don't know if that's permanent or if that's just to prevent any dirt from running down in the property during construction. But if it is permanent, it's so close to our property line, and our property is up high, and then it goes down to almost a gully where we have old growth trees that I'm concerned if we have any more water load run down into that, it would be detrimental to those trees and their viability over the years. So I don't know if there would be some type of barrier that would keep the water in their yard and out of our yard, because the proposed dry well looks like it's pretty much up against within maybe 15 feet of our property. So I would want any water load that came from this construction to be dumped back into the McCain's property and not ours, to preserve the natural state that we have on our property line.
So I can address, there's a few comments. First of all, the proposed silt sock is a temporary erosion control measure to be put in place to prevent siltation and erosion into the wetlands from any construction that would occur. Once construction is complete and the site is stabilized, the silt sock will be removed. It's, as I said, a temporary measure. The proposed dry well is closer to 60 feet from your property. There's no proposed work off-site. And if there were any issues with the sizing of the septic tank in regards to the addition, those would be addressed in the building permit by the building inspector. So we do not anticipate any issues from that, and the silt sock will be removed post-construction.
Yeah, and let me just comment, any issues with the septic system, that's dealt with by the Board of Health, and we don't have the expertise to determine whether the system is in good enough shape for that modification, but they do, and I'm sure the construction can occur without the Board of Health having reviewed it. So, and the other thing is trees, with regard to water, I mean, trees just suck up huge amounts of water. And if you have water going in the ground from a dry well, the trees are just going to say thank you. They're not, it's not going to damage those trees unless they're in standing water for excessive amounts of time. And I did not get the impression that standing water is a problem on that site. Is that correct?
I would say on the vernal pool side, yeah, there definitely is. And there's a huge slope from that side of the property, their property that runs into that vernal pool from where the proposed construction is. So.
Well, I think, I tend to think that's not going to be an issue, but so we can make note of that, and if there is a site walk, which I expect there will be, that will be one of the points of discussion.
That's great, and I appreciate you hearing my concerns. I'm just, I'm just trying to like preserve my property the way I would like it preserved, and I do like the buffer zone of the trees, so thank you.
Yes, and just to comment, this is actually the whole context of the Wetland Protection Act, that it's intended to protect the homeowner against changes that would damage their property and the value of their house. And that's what necessitated the Wetland Protection Act from being enacted as law, because of deep abuses, particularly by subdivision builders, that resulted in homeowners having terrible problems after construction. So that's what this process is about. I think we can lower your hand now, which I did. So we can, unless there are further questions, which I don't see, we can consider a motion to continue this meeting until August 30th to address those specific points.
I'll make the motion, we continue, is it DET number 1112 to, what is the next meeting?
August 30th. So we have a motion made by Dan Doyle and seconded by?
Second.
Ron O'Reilly, to continue determination 1112 until August 30th. So a roll call vote, Dan Doyle and Ron, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye.
And Carrie, and did we lose? Oh, there's Dan Pearson down there too.
Aye.
Oh, Dan looks like he got dumped off. He's still connected. All right, Dan, we just did a vote.
Aye.
All right, we got it. And
Sorry,
also
yes.
aye, so this is continued until August 30th. So, Tim, thank you for participating in that.
Thank you very much for your time, everyone. Have a good night.
You bet. So, our next item is notice of intent, file number 250-1079, for Claire Lynch. And I'm afraid this, unfortunately, got lost in the confusion because, as I understand it, this was a fairly straightforward issue with regard to a common driveway, and there was going to be markers indicating no disturb, and then an order of conditions was going to be generated. And I guess that's where the thing fell apart. Is it didn't get clearly communicated that we needed an order of conditions generated. Does anyone else have any particular recollection? I'm assuming there's not a representative of the applicant. Well, I see Claire Lynch is on the call. If you want to just, or do we have another representative?
Greg Drake here from Outback Engineering.
Oh, actually, I can summarize the what was needed from the last meeting. No, I'm gonna have to. My printer is well. Let me just do it at the end. Lisa summarized that we needed site inspection and indication of the gas line on the plan, and payment for the legal notice, I believe.
Well, we were supposed to put a fence in, which we did. I did do a revised plan.
Okay.
And we're waiting on the DEP number too. Which,
I'm sorry, I apologize. It was the DEP number. Excuse me.
Yes.
Not the payment for the legal notice, but the DEP number.
Correct.
All right. So now, so from what you're reading, printing everything in micro print so that you save a couple of sheets of paper, Dan, maybe it's not the best thing to do.
No, that's not the problem. The problem is that I don't have red ink. It's as if I have yellow ink for where most people have red. I don't know what the problem is, but it's like a gremlin got in and took away my red ink.
All right. So I think we have enough information then to close and now generate an order of conditions.
I'm sorry. So we're satisfied that the gas line is showed on the plans. We have obviously we have the file number, and is the site inspection taken care of?
Not sure on that. I mean, we've got the revised plan. We sent those, and Jennifer saw those. So, but I don't know if she went out to the site.
Well, I mean, looking at the plan, it's a fairly discrete activity within our jurisdiction. So, that could be inspected by stopping alongside the road. So I think or if it even needs inspection, because it's not terribly complicated. So if we can clarify that between now and the next of our discussion last time, that things are pretty much all set if you provided us with a revised plan.
Yes, we did. I can show it if you
Any other
want.
questions or comments?
I can share the plan too if you want.
All right, well, that might be helpful. Is that,
Yeah, we'll try.
Carrie, are you able to make him a co-host? Yes, you are a co-host, so you can,
You should be able to, and if not, I have the plan,
you can,
so I can,
Yeah, I'm looking for it here.
there's a share screen at the bottom button, or you're just trying to find your plan? Well, Carrie, why don't you try to put it up if you have it right there?
sure. Is this the one we're talking about here? Oop. Bless you.
Thank you.
We don't see it quite yet.
Oh, is that the old one?
Maybe.
That's the old one, yeah.
Oh, there we go.
I'm not sure why it's not coming up on mine.
Well, let's see, I might have something here.
That's the one right there. Can people see that one?
It's not being shared yet.
No, did you press your,
Yeah, the person shared.
did you press the share button?
And then you have to select the window that you want to share.
Okay, here we go. This should be it. Can people see it now?
Yes.
Yes.
It's coming.
So there we added the gas line. We put a poster down fence that shows where the riverfront is. And then the DEP number was the other issue that we now have one. So,
All right. And I didn't see the gas line go by.
I didn't
Could you
either.
just,
I'm sorry, I didn't either.
gas line's
highlight that?
right there. One on the
Okay, all right.
Okay, and it's labeled. Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
it's labeled down here.
Yep. Okay.
All right, well, I think we have everything. If we could just be sure to specify what new information has been received and that we are now set for, I think, closing. So Dan Pearson and Megan, I assume you have that info, and so we can consider a motion to close file number 250-1079 unless let's see here. Currently not able to.
I don't see any hands.
Yeah, I'm not able to bring up the participants list right at the moment. So if there are no hands,
I don't
then
see any hands either.
Mr. Chairman,
Motion.
assuming that there are no hands, which seem to be the case, I would like to make a motion to close the public hearing on DEP file 250-1079.
Second.
all right, we have a motion. So Greg, if you could just turn off your share. There we go. All right. Now we're back. So we have a motion made. Because I couldn't view the participants list, I'm just going to take a look at it now. Okay, no hands are up. So a motion made to close the public meeting, or public hearing rather, for file number 250-1079. And it was made by Dan Pearson, I believe, seconded by Dan
Yes.
Doyle. Does that sound right?
Correct.
All right, so roll call vote. We first Dan Doyle and Ron,
Aye.
and Carrie and Dan Pearson.
Aye.
And I'll throw in an aye, so the motion carries. So we're going to be, we expect we will have an order of conditions next meeting for us to act on.
Sounds good.
All right, thank you, Greg.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Our next item is notice of intent file number 50-1077 Ferrari Pools, 14 John Scott Boulevard. And
Mr. Chairman, may I just make a note? At the last meeting, that file was, they asked for a continuation the day of the meeting. And so we just continued, no action, no other action was taken. Nor was there a reason given why they asked for a continuation. So I'm just
Yeah, and
background.
I thought there was an email just a short time ago, but I may have gotten it confused with, all right, so there was an email. Sorry, wrong hearing. Yeah. That relates to a different hearing. So I guess the question is, do we have an applicant, a representative of the applicant?
Yes, my name is Stephen Balsovich, with the company Land Planning Incorporated. We're here representing Ferrari Pools on behalf of the homeowner, the Andrews family. Last meeting, actually 2 meetings ago, the 7/12 meeting, it was uncovered that there was an existing order of conditions that was void on the property taken out in 2016. The property had since then changed hands, and as a result of potentially having 2 orders of conditions on the same property, we needed to produce an existing conditions and request for a certificate of compliance on the property, that it was stabilized and constructed as the plan suggested. We've since then produced an existing conditions plan, filed the appropriate documents with the commission, and also submitted some pictures of the property. One of the only items that was not executed at the time of the last meeting was the posting of the no disturbance signs. Since then, with the discussion with Jennifer, the fence for the proposed pool has been installed in accordance with the old order of conditions, the visual barrier, and the no disturbance signs were posted along it. So we were looking to close out the order of conditions. I believe I have a number for that. Pull that up for you.
Yeah, that I mean, we won't be able to do it within the context of the public hearing, but I'm assuming it will come up on our next meeting, and it doesn't necessarily exclude continuing with this current process with your current application.
Is that
So-
967?
Yes,
Chairman, was that 250-967?
yes, it is.
Just for the record.
All right, because that's not on our agenda tonight to issue a certificate of compliance, but I'm assuming it will come up and that will be addressed.
We tabled that last meeting at the suggestion of Lisa Carrozza because it dealt with 1077, which we weren't dealing with at the last meeting. So it was tabled. That's why it was tabled.
All right, but if you're saying everything is in compliance, then I expect we'll be able to certify that and close it out. But the existing hearing relates to, I mean, are you able to show a plan, share a plan off of your computer? But we'll have to make you a co-host. Carrie, is that something you're able to do? Let's see. Yes, you are now a co-host. So if you can go ahead and if you know how to share your screen.
I am trying to share right now. Start sharing this document. believe it should be. Nothing seems to be coming up. I just have to.
We can see it.
We can see a plan.
We
Okay.
just need it zoomed in a little bit because I can't see the details.
All right. Let me full screen this. All right. So this, as I said, it'll be addressed at the next meeting. This is the existing conditions plan to close out that previous order. However, this is the current site plan for the property. It shows.
Can you zoom in just a little bit on your screen?
There we go. I think that does it.
I just can't read any of it.
Yes. I'm dealing with an older computer, so it's a little slow on me. So this overview plan shows kind of the whole property, and you can see the ties to the property line from the existing house. The pool is off the southerly side of the house. So this right here shows the existing tree clearing. As I stated, the fence was installed in accordance with the previous order of conditions, and the sediment barrier was placed around the perimeter of it with the signs posted. Currently, we are looking to permit the pool construction. This is the site plan for the proposed pool. We're proposing, I guess, the wetlands are on either side of the pool. We have one here, series 1 to 6, 6 being just off the property. And then we have an A series along this side. We have both a 100-foot buffer kind of come together at these two locations. So this proposed pool is entirely within the 100-foot buffer. To comply with the stormwater from the increase in impervious area, we're proposing a rain garden to capture the runoff from the existing driveway. As I said, the fence was already installed so that the visual barrier was in, and this plan hasn't changed from its initial opening on 7/12.
I think the only things that we hadn't had detailed, it was the rain garden on our prior discussions. And the prior order of conditions, did that deal with a similar or very exact plan, or did the plan change?
So there were a few questions in the last meeting, and actually the plan wasn't the current and up-to-date plan. This is the actual revision that was supposed to be posted then. Some of the concerns were with the no disturbance zone here. I'll try and zoom in on that. So I guess the signs needed to be posted, and the no disturbance zone started at the existing limit of clearing per the previous meeting. Order of conditions, I apologize. And then I believe there were some additional notes, one being here regarding street sweeping for the stormwater management, regarding any materials or sediments that attract into the right of way should be maintained and taken care of immediately and disposed of on site. I believe those were really the only concerns that just were not on the plan that was submitted initially.
All right.
This down here is a kind of a typical cross section of the rain garden. We proposed some recommended plant listing for the location being at the end of the driveway. We wanted to make sure it was gonna sustain the vegetation that was planted, so we proposed salt tolerant vegetation. We're not proposing any trees, more of grasses and shrubs, not really exceeding 5 feet in height.
All right, so I think okay, so I think we have everything we need to generate an order of conditions, and we can, unless there are any further questions from commission members or audience members, let me see if anybody has their hands up, which I do not see currently. So any further questions? If not, we can consider a motion to close.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to close the file on, close the meeting rather on DEP 250-1077.
All right, motion made by Dan Pearson and seconded by Dan Doyle. We're going to do a roll call vote. All those in favor, so Dan Doyle and Ron, you're up.
Aye. Aye.
And Dan Pearson and Carrie.
Aye.
Aye.
And I'll throw in an aye, so the motion carries to close the meeting, a public meeting for for notice of intent, file number 250-1077, and we'll be generating an order of conditions that we can act on our next meeting, which is August 30th.
All right. Thank you for your time.
All right, well,
Coming
thanks for
in.
coming tonight. We are now up to notice of intent, file number 250-1078 for Jamie Smith, AZ Corporation, Wheaton College. And I think there was only an open question as to whether the legal bill had been paid on this. This has to do with the extension of a electrical line, I believe, for Wheaton College. And that we have an indication the bill was paid, and we can close this hearing for the notice of intent, file number 250-1078. And we actually have a draft order of conditions available to act on later. So unless there are any questions from the commission or members of the audience, we can entertain a motion to close.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to close the public hearing on file 250-1078.
Second.
All right, we have a motion made by Dan Pearson, seconded by Ron O'Reilly. Roll call vote. Dan Doyle and Ron, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye.
And Dan Pearson and Carrie, how do you vote?
Aye.
All right, I'll throw in an aye, so the motion carries. Close the public hearing for file number 250-1078. Our next item is file number 250-1040 for Mike Trowbridge of Hutchins Trowbridge Associates concerning 306-308 East Main Street. This has been continued multiple times, and I believe that was, again, there was a request sent in today, which requests a continuation till September 13th. So we can entertain a motion for a continuation of file number 250-1040 until September 13th, which I believe is yes, that is our next meeting in a month.
I'll make that motion, Mr. Chairman, to continue 1040 to the next meting.
Well, no, it's September 13th. It's a month from now.
I'm sorry, until a month from now.
September 13th, specifically.
Isn't our next meeting August 30th?
Yes, I kind of misspoke. I just was confirming that the 13th of September was one of our regular meetings, and it is, but it is 2 meetings from now. Our next meeting is the 30th, so they're requesting September 13th. So I'm assuming, Dan, you're making that, Dan Pearson, you're making that motion?
Yes, for September 13th.
and we're going to need a second.
Second.
Motion made by Dan Pearson, seconded by Carrie for continuation of file number 250-1040 till September 13th. Dan Doyle and Ron, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye.
And Dan Pearson and Carrie, how do you vote?
Aye.
And I'll throw in an aye. So that continuation carries. So our next item is concerning Woodland Green with Stephen Bishop, and Stephen Bishop is in the meeting. So if you want to just open the discussion. You're on mute, just to be aware.
Can you hear me now?
We can.
My apologies. I live at 33 Goldenwood Drive. My name is Steve Bishop. I live at 33 Goldenwood Drive in Woodland. We have a retention pond behind, well, in the center of our development. And I'm speaking on behalf of the board. And we'd like to treat that and try to cut down some of the cat nine tails with some non-invasive. It's called shoreline defense. It's a liquid aquatic herbicide, and we wanted to see if that was okay with the Conservation Commission. If that would be something that would be, or maybe you had some other ideas to help us with our algae issues as well as the cat nine tails that is kind of really overgrowing our pond. We're just trying to clean it up to make it much nicer like it was a few years ago.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Mr. Bishop, could you repeat the name of the treatment?
Sure will. It is called, and this isn't necessarily what this is just one that was recommended to us. Shoreline Defense, it's called. It's a liquid aquatic herbicide.
Shoreline Defense.
Defense, yeah, correct. Yep.
Thanks.
So it sounds like, I mean, just off the top of my head, it sounds like this is something that will require either a request for determination of applicability or a notice of intent.
Okay.
But is there? It says retention pond, so this has standing water in it all the time. Although this year standing water. So even in a relatively dry season,
Yes, sir.
it's a pond. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean, anybody else have any comments? It sounds like this is something that will need to be, we need to be able to research this chemical that's being applied.
Well, we could use anything that, whatever you guys would suggest or offer to help to kind of accomplish what we want to accomplish. We're kind of, we really want your blessing, certainly with something that we use, which we haven't yet. But that was just one that was recommended to us, and I know you have to look into it, I'm sure. I'd be more than happy to supply you the information where we got this from out of the booklet that I'm looking at.
Yeah,
If you could send the specific sheet on what this is and what it does, how it acts, that would be great.
Sure.
Yeah, just for the conservation, or whatever, that would be great.
Can you send that to the office?
Yeah.
Conservation office? Okay.
Yeah.
apparently Jen has reviewed the letter, and she suggests that this may not require a permit, and it may be covered under your stormwater management program. So I think we need to have her help determining what the best approach is. But I think we need specific information about this material so that we can review it. But maybe we can continue the discussion at our next meeting, and we'll get some feedback.
And I'll supply you the information when we, on this product itself, and I'll have that in the office, next couple days.
All right. And,
Mr. Chairman.
yeah, go ahead, Dan.
Oh, I just had a quick comment. I just wanted to thank Mr. Bishop for coming forward because it's not always the case. Thank you for asking us before pouring a chemical into the water.
Yeah, I agree on that. I discussed this with the board here, and it's just not. I don't know anything. I don't know enough about this chemical. I know water. I work for the water department, and I was rather check with you guys first, and get your guidance before we do anything that could be detrimental to wildlife or anything else that could be affected by this. I don't know. It sounds pretty harmless, but without your guidance, I didn't feel right about not treating it without any kind of. Yeah,
And I think we can get feedback, and we can define exactly what needs to be done to be sure that just proceeding with a treatment is acceptable without a permitting process.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm sure. I appreciate it. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, and so I just was letting Dan Pearson and Megan know that we just have to make a notation to clarify what the exact process is once we are able to review the nature of this treatment.
Great. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time, everybody. Appreciate it.
You bet.
Thanks.
All right, so our next item on the agenda is we do have an order of conditions to review. This was concerning the Wheaton College project for installing, let's see, so that should be in your packets, file number 250-1078. We just closed it, Jamie Smith, AZ Corporation for Wheaton College. And a fairly straightforward. Anybody have any comments? I think it's all boilerplate, except for I think this is going to be done fairly quickly. So with regard to item 20, using 12-inch silt sock during frozen conditions, I don't think that's going to apply.
I'll make the motion to accept the order of conditions as submitted for file 250-1078.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion made by Dan Doyle, seconded by Carrie, to accept the order of conditions for file number 250-1078 as drafted. Roll call vote, starting with Dan Doyle and Ron. How do you vote?
Aye.
Ron, I didn't hear anything coming from you. Oh, that was an aye. Okay. It's coming through softly. So, and Dan Pearson and Carrie?
Aye.
All right. And I'll throw in an aye. So the motion carries unanimously to accept the orders of conditions as submitted for file number 1078. Yes. Next item, request for a full certificate of compliance, file number 250-1061. This concerns one of two files for Judge Rottenberg Educational Center, 31 West Shelley Road. This particular one related to the septic system replacement. This has been inspected and is certified to be, or recommended to be issued as a full. Any questions, comments, motions?
I'll make the motion to accept the full or issue a full COC for file number 250-1061.
I'll second.
We have a motion made by Dan Doyle, seconded by Carrie, for issuing full COC for file number 250-1061, starting with Dan Doyle and Ron. How do you vote on that motion?
Aye.
Aye.
And Dan Pearson and Carrie, how do you vote?
Aye.
And the dog voted too. I'll throw in an aye. So we're going to issue the COC for 250-1061, and the next certificate of compliance, file number 250-1050, relates to the same location, Judge Rottenberg Educational Center, 31 Shelley Road, and this had to do with related work for removing concrete and paving the existing driveway. That has been completed and inspected, and it's recommended we issue a full certificate of compliance for that work.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion made by Dan Doyle, seconded by Carrie, that we issue a full COC for file number 250-1050. Again, starting with Dan Doyle and Ron. How do you vote?
Aye.
Aye.
And Dan Pearson and Carrie?
Aye.
And I'll throw in an aye. So that motion carries. Full COC for file number 250-1050. And I guess, Josh, you're related to this project?
Yes, thank you very much for your both approvals.
All right, very good. We're all set. So technically, because we're all working remote, we don't have to sign these hard copies, but you will be issued your certificate of compliance.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
So we have some sets of minutes. First is July 26th, regular minutes.
Yeah, I sent out an email 2 hours ago, which obviously we can't expect anyone else to act on. And I apologize for that. I dropped the ball on that. Somehow I just...
Well, so, well, what's first of all, you know, we're all kind of behind the eight ball, so you don't have to apologize for anything. But I guess the question is, these are brief. Is there any reason to consider they should be amended, or should we act on these? I mean, we have the original recording and the file.
The latest email from Dan, those minutes were good. I just was on my computer early and read through them, and they were good, and explained everything thoroughly, but not everybody probably had a chance to read them.
Okay, so this copy that I have, maybe we can move this issue to our next meeting, because there's no super urgency that we finalize this tonight.
Yeah, that's fine.
There's also, which you might also choose to move, is the executive session minutes, which were much more substantive, and for which I would like some more information, which I can send some of it to. I would ask Jen for. One thing you can answer now is a fill in the blank. Attorney blank naval of blank.
Why don't we move it to next session?
Okay, we
To the
can,
next meeting.
That's gonna
Yeah.
be clarified and
And-
we can answer those.
much more important issue is which can be moved along with it, is the list of things on the scope of work, because that needs some more stuff. Anyway, I'll send Jen an email or something, or send everyone an email. Do something.
Yeah. But we have the original file, is that correct? I mean,
We do have we do have at the very least the video of the regular meeting, and I would imagine we have the executive session as well.
yeah, the recording.
No, I haven't looked at that.
Yeah, so I think those can answer any detailed questions about it. So I think I don't think we need a motion. We're just going to do no action on these minutes, and we'll address those details at the next meeting. All right, I guess with regard to new business, there's a request that we need 2 people. Oh, I see, 2 different people other than Jean only. Because I guess Jean is not available, hasn't been available recently. So we'll have to designate somebody else. Who anybody want to step forward to also be authorized to sign bills?
I mean, I'm pretty available. I'm working from home, so I can go up to town hall if you need me.
Yeah, I think that would be helpful for times when Jean is not available. So we'll do a motion to nominate Carrie as a second individual who is authorized as a commission member to review and sign bills for accounts payable.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to authorize Carrie Snyder as an alternate motion signer. Was that it?
Bill signer.
Bill signer. I'm sorry, Bill signer.
All right, so a motion made by Dan Pearson and seconded by Dan Doyle, perhaps?
Yeah, second.
And I guess in this circumstance, because you're the center of the focus, we'll have you abstain from the
I
vote.
would guess so, yes.
So we have enough, we have a quorum, assuming there aren't people who are going to, you haven't offended anybody recently, have you? So we'll now open up to.
I don't think so.
All right, good. Dan Doyle and Ron, how do you vote?
Aye. Aye.
And Dan Pearson?
Aye.
And I'll throw in an aye. So you have been officiated to also sign the bills and to be sent to accounting, bills and payroll as a member of the commission. And I don't think we have any reports on old business, and nothing else here on my agenda, unless anybody else has any items to be brought up. I think we've completed everything. So Dan, you have notes as to what took place and what has to be acted on for each of those. And
I do indeed, and where they should tell me, I will look at the Norton Media Center website, which somehow escaped my thinking last time. But they have a video of it, so.
Well, the video is actually on the computer at Town Hall, as I understand it, and maybe Megan, you can clarify that with Jen in one of your questions as to how we bring up those files for review, and I think they can be sent to you Dan, on your computer, assuming your computer, how old is your computer?
Mine?
Yeah. Okay, that doesn't tell me how old.
It's a Commodore 64, mine. No, it's not.
All right, well, I at least have the excuse that my internet is terrible. I'm surprised I didn't, lose the meeting this time around, but your internet is good. Is that right, Dan?
Yes, it's fine. It's fine. Yeah. Generally.
All right, so Megan, I'm sure you enjoyed every instant of this meeting tonight.
Oh yeah, that was riveting.
It was riveting, but you'll get the flow of it, and you'll just look forward. Each day you'll say, "Golly, when is that meeting coming up?" So unless there is other business to be acted on, let's see. So Jen, are you? I never know if she's on or it's just her.
Yeah, I don't see any other hands raised for the open session, so.
Yeah. All right. So I think we can consider a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to adjourn the August 16th meeting of the Conservation Commission.
Second.
All right. Motion made and seconded by Dan Pearson and Ron. So thank you guys for attending tonight. And until next time, which will be August 30th. And I do have a hearing coming up on August 30th. So one of you guys is going to have to stand in as the co-chair if Lisa is not available.
Yeah, I might have to miss that as well due to conflict, but I'll know closer to the date.
Well, hopefully we'll have a quorum.
I'll be ready.
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you guys, and I'm signing off.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Good night.
Night.